What's going on, y'all? It's awesome of awesomebeats.com. I know that you guys haven't seen my face too much this year yet. You will be seeing plenty of my face in 2019. But today, actually this morning, it's legit 1:57 in the morning. I don't know if you can see that. Is there a way I can make that focus? I don't know. Whatever. It's 1:57 in the morning. It's raining. Day after the Super Bowl. Uh, so I want to talk about this 21 Savage situation. And I'm not really the type of person that goes into detail about the happenings of trends in hip hop and music. Uh, Mostly when it's centered around artists. In actuality, uh, this 21 Savage situation is so mind blowing because it actually somehow managed to be a more popular story than the Super Bowl, which I think is the first time something like that happened. Um, and it's just a change of the times, man. It's just a change of the times. But I wanted to talk about how this 21 Savage situation actually kind of reminds me of one of the 48 Laws of Power. So, to give you a quick review of what happened, if you were on social media at all yesterday, aside from the updates of the Super Bowl and how boring it might be to some or rigged to others, the most talked about topic was actually none other than the supposed Atlanta native 21 Savage being held captive by ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Um, Supposedly, he had a 14-year-old expired U.S. visa because he's apparently from the UK. Now, I don't know how much this is true. I don't know. I don't know what to believe. Um, I'm actually not even here to talk on that. Uh, there were obviously like several memes and stuff that were crafted after this whole 21 Savage situation came to light because he reps Atlanta so hard, you would have no reason to believe that that's not where he's from. But um, supposedly that's the situation. This does remind me, however, of one of the laws of power, which is actually, if you guys aren't familiar with the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, um, it's a book that's reached a lot of criticism. A lot of people talk about it. There's even people that I feel have distanced themselves from me because of the fact that I've read the book. Um, I think that's ridiculous. I don't try to use these laws or anything um, for any negative purpose anyway. And I don't even actively use them. To be honest, I just am myself. So I might, by the nature of being me as you are, use some of these laws without even knowing it. Laws, honestly, they're really just like techniques or like um, I don't know, like ways of doing things. I guess that can grant you some power. But anyway, before I get lost on that, I don't want this to be too long of a video, but it reminded me of Law 25, which I have right here because I have my copy of the book right here. I'm sure you've probably seen these or seen all of the billions of hip hop rappers that have tried to make their album cover out of this Robert Greene book. But anyway, the law is actually recreate yourself. And one of the reasons I think that this is such a cool law is because it means that what you were born into isn't necessarily fixed. Like, if it may be true that 21 Savage is from Britain and he came here at age 12, which, I mean, by the time I was 12, I think I was pretty formed in my ways. I did go through some changes, but from a psychological perspective, you seem to more or less remain the same person that you were about the time you were 11 or 12. You just go through other experiences and so on and so forth. Um, but anyways, the law basically states do not accept the roles that society foists on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience. One of the things that I will say is I don't know how much 21 Savage changed his roles outside of the possibility that he's a British person that doesn't rep Britain. Um, and he seemed very much like an Atlanta native. But the thing is, it's like, if it's actually true that he's from Britain, he did a very good job of seeming like an Atlanta native. I don't think anybody knew this. I mean, outside of people that were extremely close to him. Be the master of your own image rather than letting others define it for you. So when people say things like, when people criticize this book and talk about how amoral it is and how ridiculous it is, I think that they're coming from a place of lack of power, and trying to manipulate others. But the thing is, it's like, you're not really like manipulating others in this situation. Like, true enough, like a lot of people feel like, whatever comes to the light comes to the light. But there's a lot of power in defining yourself. And the thing is, it's like, if you don't define yourself, you're left to how people define you. But if you make a conscious effort to define yourself, there's actually power in that. You can decide more or less like who you'll be associated with, which is within your control. Like, you can decide like what type of clothes you're gonna wear. You can decide like what type of music you're gonna like, and you're not fixed to like whatever it is, whatever a certain situation is. I mean, if you even think about the situation of Jay-Z, this law totally applies to Jay-Z as well. Like, what I'm saying, if he's from Bed-Stuy Projects, now he's a billionaire. I'm willing to bet that he doesn't carry himself the exact same way that he carried himself when he was living in Bed-Stuy. That's literally just like the point of this whole law, and the power that there is in it. I mean, it's pretty wild to think about the concept of like a UK person coming to the US and becoming one of the most popular rappers here, because UK artists unfortunately don't hit that hard out here like that. Though UK grime is definitely on the rise. But just to like make this more useful information for you, what it says here is like, the character that you seem to have been born with is not necessarily who you are. Beyond the characteristics that you have inherited, your parents, your friends, and your peers have helped to shape your personality. You can remake yourself into a character of power, or just a different character. You know what I'm saying? Walking on yourself like clay should be one of your greatest and most pleasurable life tasks. It makes you the essence of an artist creating yourself. So when we talk about like artists, producers, rappers, so on and so forth, like, you're a different person. I'm sure that to some degree I've recreated myself. I'm certain of that, actually. I dress a certain way, I carry myself a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I grew my hair out. Maybe you, whatever it is that you think of people with long hair, people with hoop earrings. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't obviously born this way. When I was a kid, I used to always have a fade, that may or may not have been nappy, that may or may not have been wavy. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't get my ears pierced until I graduated from high school, because my dad wasn't about it. You know what I'm saying? But now you'll never see me without earrings. You know what I'm saying? My hair's long. I carry myself a certain way. I went to school. I got educated on this music industry stuff. And so by virtue, like, I recreated myself. I made myself, I put myself in a position of power because I know certain things now. I can leverage that information and share it with people. I can use it for myself, for my own benefit, to make it so that I'm not shooting in the dark. You know what I'm saying? And that's what plenty of people do. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that that's something, as an independent artist or a producer, that's something that you should do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not necessarily like, forget your roots or whatever, but definitely, remember where you came from, but try to focus more so on where you're trying to go. Like, where you're going has a lot to do with, where you'll be, like where you're trying to go. And so you can't always get to where you want to go, in the same packaging that you are in. So create yourself, create your environment, morph it so that you can put yourself in a position to be more successful. Like, obviously it wasn't intentional that he came to the US and so on and so forth like that because he was a kid, but uh be it that be it as it may, he still made something out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? If he was a UK person, I don't know that he would have had the same type of appeal that he ended up having and done all the things that he's done. He's done amazing things for the community, which is also a different creation of himself than when he first came here. So, you know, his whole style switched up. You know what I'm saying? He went from Chainz and such to speaking about financial literacy. So just kind of like think about those things. There's no reversal to this law, by the way. Um, just focus on the fact that you yourself are a piece of art and make sure that you are the best image that you can make of yourself. That's all. Peace out. Please leave comments, subscribe, share this video if you think it's useful. Gonna try to do more of these. All right. Peace. Till next time.